Hello and welcome to the Grad Ireland Graduate Careers Fair 2020. I am joined today by my fabulous panel from Specialisterne Ireland. So we have Noreen, Emma, Adi and Aoife. So I'm going to kick off the session by sharing a video with you and then I'll hand over to our panel.
Well, Specialisterne Ireland is a specialist recruiter that is matching autistic people with employers who have a need for their talent. We're growing very rapidly, and the reason is because people have seen our success in companies like SAP.
We started to partner with Specialisterne. They showed us a number of brilliant candidates. We said, okay, we've got the jobs, you've got the candidates, and then we made the match. And it's been very successful.
Autistic people see the world in a different way, communicate, think and interact with the environment in a different way to other people. But unfortunately, if you think about a job application process, an interview process, the day-to-day working environment, a lot of practices not only aren't autism friendly, they nearly capture the worst possible scenarios for autistic people.
Specialisterne helped me get the foot in the door to SAP. They organised an interview with one of the managers, and that manager met me the next day, and the following day he said, yeah, we'll take this guy on, starting next week.
I got the house last year. It's something that I've been planning for a while, naturally enough. I work down the road in SAP. No, I'd certainly recommend it. It's been great for me and hopefully for others.
Specialisterne has been really pleased to work with Nick since the day we started, and he almost got onto us that day. So today basically he has a good job that allows him to take part fully in society. We've worked with nearly 200 people and placed them successfully, and we've also worked with about another 500 in that, so a total of 700. I believe Ireland needs a diverse and innovative workforce, and Specialisterne is very pleased and excited to be in there with our partners to actually contribute to that by providing diverse
Brilliant. Now I'll hand over to our panel. So you're just on mute there. Don't worry.
Thank you, Alison and Grad Ireland. We very much appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm Noreen. We very much appreciate the opportunity to speak about Specialisterne Ireland and the services that we provide to graduates and undergraduates who are on the autism spectrum, have Asperger's, dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD, or experience similar challenges, and the services that we at Specialisterne Ireland can provide to these individuals to help them move closer to employment. I'll be providing a general introduction to the organisation. Emma, our business manager, will be providing an overview of services and supports that we provide to graduates and undergraduates. Adi will be speaking about our partner companies and the neurodiverse friendly recruitment process within these partner companies. And finally, Aoife will be covering the topic of common reasonable accommodations that candidates sometimes need to be successful in the work environment. So, on the video you just saw there, you met our CEO, Peter Brabazon, and also Nick, one of our candidates in SAP. And Nick has worked in SAP for more than 7 years. Also in the background were a number of other candidates, which is what we refer to the people that we work with, and as well as several of their fellow SAP work colleagues. Many of these have been employed in SAP for 5 years or longer, and were hired through the SAP Autism and Neurodiversity at Work programme, which Specialisterne Ireland recruits for. SAP are our biggest employer, and our offices are located in SAP Dublin during non-COVID times. However, we also have staff all over the country, so location isn't really an issue. At present, we're operating remotely at full capacity, working with graduates over multiple platforms, and are still actively supporting recruitment of neurodiverse individuals into many of our 32 partner companies. We're also continuing to provide high quality ongoing support to candidates employed in these companies. Our process is candidate-centric, will proceed at your own pace, and has no cost to the people we work with. Sessions with us will help you to prepare for interviews and employment and are tailored to your needs. We very much look forward to meeting you today, so don't hesitate to book a meeting or drop in through chat to see how we can support you. I'm now going to pass you over to Emma, who will speak about our work with graduates and undergraduates, as well as the range of services that we offer.
Thanks for that, Noreen. It's great to be here today. So Specialisterne Ireland provides a number of supports for students who are seeking to obtain internships, graduate roles, or to enhance their job-seeking skills in preparation for joining the workforce. Many individuals who are on the autism spectrum or who have ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, or who experience similar challenges may struggle with interviews. As such, we provide support on how best to approach job seeking and interviews to increase our candidates' confidence and success. For undergraduate students, we provide an intensive interview skills program with individualized assessment, CV preparation, and interview training at no cost to the student. We work with undergraduate students for weekly 40-minute slots over 6 weeks. We provide guidance on workplace etiquette and the corporate environment. We help build up personalized competency-based interview answers that reflect your experience and provide mock interviews to prepare. For students who go on to complete an internship, after internship completion, we work with the student to incorporate their new relevant experiences into their interview answers when job seeking on graduation. For graduates, Specialisterne Ireland provides an intensive interview skills program and provides guidance on workplace etiquette and the corporate environment. We help candidates to identify the best of their educational and workplace experiences for upcoming interviews and provide mock interviews to prepare. To talk a little bit more about our partner companies, I'm going to hand you over to Adi.
Thank you so much, Emma. So here at Specialisterne Ireland, we're really fortunate to have a number of fantastic partner companies, such as SAP, DPS Group, Northern Trust, Pfizer, Accenture, AIG, and many more. So really, we are partnered with these companies because they want to have a more diverse and inclusive environment within the workplace. Through our employer partnerships, then, we arrange for candidates to be recruited through an autism-friendly or neurodiverse-friendly process. This process allows us to tailor the traditional interview process towards the needs of the graduate. So it's, as Noreen said, it's very candidate-centric. Where a graduate's experience, education, and skill set match an available position in one of the partner companies, the suitable graduate would be put forward for interview. So we can talk to the graduate about their worries or concerns for the interview, as well as allowing us to tailor the interview for their needs and talk to the interview panel about conducting autism-friendly or neurodiverse-friendly interviews. We can advise interview panels to focus on specific requirements for the job, as well as the candidate's relevant skills, previous workplace experience, and for example, maybe discuss their final year project. So if successful at an autism-friendly or neurodiverse-friendly interview, Specialisterne Ireland will support the onboarding of the graduate into the workplace. So because we're partnered with so many companies, as I mentioned above, we can talk to the hiring managers, the supervisors, and anyone else in HR to ensure that any reasonable accommodations needed by the candidate are in place. And Aoife is going to talk to you a little bit more about reasonable accommodations in a few minutes. So the support that Specialisterne Ireland offers doesn't just stop at getting the job. We do provide ongoing support within employment if placed in one of the partner companies. So this simply means that because of our partnership with these companies, we can check in on candidates and their managers on a regular basis. This is just to make sure that the experience can be as positive as possible for both the candidate and the company, and that any issues can be resolved quickly and efficiently. If a graduate's skill set, education, and experience does not match a suitable position available in one of the partner companies, we will still continue to work with the student to work with the graduate and support them to find their own work. So I'm going to now hand you over to Aoife, who's going to talk to you about reasonable accommodations in the workplace.
Sorry about that. So thanks a million, Adi. As Adi mentioned, reasonable accommodations refer to practical changes that can be put in place in response to particular challenges that a candidate may experience. So for example, a sensory sensitivity. These accommodations are implemented when needed to help a candidate perform to the best of their ability. To identify a need for a specific accommodation in the workplace, it is first really important for us to understand any specific challenges faced by our candidates. So for example, someone who is on the autism spectrum and has a sensory sensitivity to sound may benefit from wearing ear defenders at work. Some other examples of reasonable accommodations that we have come across in the last 7 years of working with candidates would be clear communication. So this could mean clear communication around workplace behaviour and expectations, clear instructions around deadlines, quality of work, or how to improve quality of work. Another common one that we've come across is using ear defenders. So this might be required by a candidate working in kind of a busy open plan office space, or it might just be needed intermittently, like when the fire alarm is being tested at work. Another simple accommodation that we've come across is just positioning of workspace in relation to light. So sometimes just moving desks to be closer to natural light, or the opposite, moving away from windows, can make a big difference for some candidates. Another simple one is just flexibility around lunch hours. So maybe taking a slightly different lunch break to avoid crowds in the canteen is something some of our candidates have found helpful. And finally, I suppose quite a simple one, but again, a big one would be the ongoing support in the workplace. This usually means receiving regular feedback on performance, as well as regular check-ins by a manager or mentor, or if based in one of our partner companies, by a Specialisterne Ireland staff member. And when considering reasonable accommodations, it is important to note that every person is different. Challenges will vary from person to person, and so any reasonable accommodations implemented will also vary. And not every person who is neurodiverse will require reasonable accommodations in the workplace at all. There is also a common misconception that if accommodations are needed, that these are costly or complicated for the employer to provide. In fact, research has shown that reasonable accommodations actually tend to cost little or nothing and are very easy to implement. Thank you for joining us today, and don't be afraid to drop into us for a virtual chat anytime at all during this Grad Ireland event. If you have any queries, you can always get in contact with us through our website at www.specialisterne.ie or email us at info.ireland@specialisterne.com. We can also be found on most social media platforms.